A very special greeting to all and sundry. This is Voice of KNU Western Media, and I humbly welcome you all to the first edition of the Time with the Valedictorians. This is where we invite our August valedictorians to share with us their experiences that have been garnered over the past few years. I'm in the person of our guest in Kwabena Kwache, and I have the pleasure of being your host for today's session. We are currently graced with the presence of one of our very own from the College of Arts and Building. He is a graduate from the Department of Land Economy who has completed with a CWA of 80.33. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us get ready to delve deeper into the minds and experiences of our esteemed guests. Join me as we welcome Master Desmond Bantee.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is all ours.
Thank you.
We are very glad that you could spend time to join us on this show.
Thank you.
I mean, met Desmond Bantee in the flesh. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Once again, this is Voice of KNU Western Media. We are appreciative for you joining us up here. I mean, you just had your ceremony, 57 congregation, recently, and having been called up to the stage as a valedictorian of your college. I mean, how was the feeling?
It was so great being the first generation college student and graduating with a CW of 80.33, emerging as valedictorian. Felt so euphoric. I mean, it's the pinnacle of my academic journey so far, and I couldn't be any more happier.
That is really obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, having your name being inscribed in the historical books of Cabe University, that is really exciting. But Master Desmond Bantee, let us shift our focus into understanding how it all started. Was it something that was planned right from the start of things when you set your foot on the premise of KNU, or something that you more like developed along the line? Was it something that was planned all along?
Well, I would say I planned towards it in first year. I think a friend approached me. He was my mate at St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary, and he told me that I should target being the valedictorian of my college. And from that moment, I started working towards it, planning, and I mean, at the end of it, I got it, and it felt so good.
I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Target. We would deliberate much further on this concept of targets, but I want us to understand how everything started. So kindly guide us through the summary of your academic journey.
Okay, so I started at KG1 in Dafiama KG. So honestly, when they sent me to school, my father sent me to school, I went back home. Anytime he sent me, I'll be back home again. I didn't really want to go to school, but it was actually the third term of the academic year, where usually they don't pick students in the third term. But I told my father that I wanted to go to school this time around. And because the school teacher was just staying around us, our neighbor, then she accepted me, and I started.
I mean, right from the start of things, somebody who had no interest in going to school, all of a sudden develops interest.
Yes.
And here becomes a valedictorian of the talent. I mean, what's in you all of a sudden?
Well, I mean, I just felt like I was ready to go to school. So I started KG third term. So when they were promoting students the next academic year, the principal told me that I wasn't ready to go to the next class because I just came for one term. But I said I wanted to join them. I just joined them. Then when we were going to P1, again, she wanted to repeat me, but I decided to join them.
The zeal to join them, was it a driving force?
Because I was with my friends, and I couldn't just stand seeing them proceed, and I was going back to the same class again. So I joined them to go to P1. And at that time, they grouped the good students in class A, then the average, and then below average in B. So I was in class B, and with no desks, no chair, and we were just basically learning on the floor. And sometimes the teacher would come to class, other times he would not come. It was really tough, but with time.
With no desk,
yeah,
nothing to actually push you to, and yet there was still a driving force to push you to the point where you want to be.
Well, at those early ages, we're just going to school for going sake because, at that one, P1, P2, we didn't really have any vision or something. We are just going to school. Our friends are going, so we are also going. Yeah. So, but with time, I started developing, getting more understanding. And P4, P5, I started picking up. I think I was ranking somewhere 20th, 25th in class. But the turning point was in class 5. when Mr. Vincent, I've forgotten the last name, he came to teach us. He's actually a very charismatic guy and a dedicated Catholic. He's now a Reverend Father. Yeah. So he changed everything. His time, he will lash you if you don't learn hard.
So, help us understand. If you say he changed everything, elaborate further on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we would pray every day. He inculcated in us the desire to pursue, to put our life, to God and put everything to God and learn hard as well. So with that, everyone started learning. And as I learned harder, I realized that my grades were improving. So getting to, JHS 1, I ranked third in my class.
That's good. Yeah. Somebody who has risen through the ranks from 25th to third. Yeah. That's an interesting story to hear.
Yeah.
Share with us.
Yeah. So third in first term in JHS 1, then second term, I went second, then third term first. And from third term in JHS 1 till we completed, I've always been the best, and I graduated as the best student in the Fiamma CGHS. Yeah, and there I gained admission to St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary. And it's a private school, a Catholic school.
Right.
And because I'm from an underprivileged family, I couldn't have afforded to go to St. Francis Xavier. So I had to, go to people, the district assembly, and then our member of parliament, Dr. Sebastian Sandari, and they supported me to go to Xavier.
Okay, through the
financial background. And at Xavier, I was in the midst of very brilliant students from different parts of the country. And first class, I was so terrified. I was like, from my village school, now I'm in the midst of so many students from private schools, good schools.
Ascribe your academic excellence to you finding yourself amidst these students with, this capacity, this ability to also excel in your academic journey?
Exactly. At Xavier, I can say the success largely depended on the group we found ourselves with. Your colleagues will push you. Everyone is learning. You have to also learn,
Yes.
Yeah, because, and Lucio, there was one guy, Lucio, his name is always, at Xavier. He did so well at the National Science and Maths quiz in 2013, and he had 8 A's in WASI. So the moment you step in Xavier, your target is to get 8 A's. Everybody, almost everyone, our target was always to get 8 A's, right? So that became a motivation for us to learn harder. And at the end of the day, I didn't get the 8 A's, I had 7 A's and B in English.
That's still brilliant.
Yeah.
The target of 8 A's, and then would you say that because you didn't actually get to the 8 A's, you were a bit melancholic or?
Oh, no. I was happy with it. I was glad. I think I had B in English, and I think with the effort I put in and my ability, I think it was a fair result, and I'm happy for it. Yeah.
Excellent.
I was the best in my cohort, again, the general arts, but I think we were 2 people who had 7 A's and 1 B in that particular year, 2019, myself and Evans Dakra. So from the arts class, I was the one with 7 A's and 1 B, then Evans from the science class. So I think it was great. And
out of the entire class.
Yeah, out of the entire school.
That must be a good feeling.
Yeah.
Now here you were within the four corners of KNUST, and then your program. From the onset, you see, most of the time we do say that course selection also plays a major role in sometimes your academic excellence. Would you say that your course selection also played a very major role in your academic excellence?
It played a role, but I won't say a major role, because I actually chose law.
Really?
Yes, I didn't choose land economy as my first choice at KNUST. So after finishing SHS, I took just one university from KNUST. and I chose law as my first choice. Statistics was my second choice, but later on, at the last minute, a friend told me that since I want to read law, land economy is the closest to law, so I should take land economy as my second choice. And
most people do buy their forms, select their courses before the result even comes in the first place.
Yeah.
If that is the case, would you say that because of how confident you were in getting good grades, good results in your final exam, the WASI, That was why you took just one form. I mean, because most people do buy two forms so that at least if one doesn't work out, the other will pick up. But would you premise that on your self-confidence?
Yes, I knew I was going to do very well in WASI because I was so confident. I mean, I knew what I wrote, and I knew that at least I should get a single grade. So that's why I chose law. And I knew, I was so confident that I would get it. But it turned out that, I didn't meet the cutoff point for that year. I think
7 A's and a B.
Yeah. I didn't get
That's quite hard to explain.
Yeah.
That you didn't get the admission to law school.
Yeah, I think that they wanted 6, a grade 6. And I think I had 8. The B was B3. So I understood why I didn't get it. So, I mean, when I got land economy, at first I didn't want to come. But later on, people told me that, go and do it. You can do law as a second degree. And I mean, I psyched myself that once I don't get what I want, I will desire what I get. Then I started liking the course, developing, some interest in land economy.
I love this phrase. Once you don't get what you want, you desire what you get.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't get what you want, then you have to want what you get. Yeah, because I wanted law, I didn't get it. Now I have land economy. I have to appreciate it and develop myself, develop my mind that, I was going to do it to the best of my abilities. And I started learning it very hard, and everything just seemed so easy for me.
Which one were you in when you were, admitted into the...
I actually didn't get the traditional horse because I paid my fees on the last day. I think the deadline was 30th of August. By the time I paid, the horse were full. So I had to go to off-campus homestay. I was actually pitching some friends.
Seriously, from the onset?
Yeah, first semester, first year, I was pitching some friends, some senior friends. They were in third year, engineering students whom I knew back at my village. Okay. So I was pitching them, and for the whole year, yeah. Before second year, I got a hostel at Shalom.
Great. When you are given a hall,
yeah,
you get to partake in all the fun activities that goes on in the hall, the jams, all the jama. It's quite thrilling. But would you also say, because when you are back in the homestay, or were there chances where you would move from your homestay to probably join the whole activities that goes on? Were there ever an opportunity like that?
No, I didn't attend the JAMA and those things in first year. Now, for 2 reasons. The first one is that I needed to secure academic excellence first, because that is what has kept me to this moment. Scholarships have funded my education, and I applied for Educational Pathways International Scholarship. I got it, and the minimum CWA that will keep you on the scholarship is 66. So first semester, I needed to get a very good start. Right? So I was always learning, and naturally, I'm a dynamic person. I want to engage in several activities. So I joined the KNUST Students' Parliament. So I was always sharing my time, academics, parliament activities. And I'm also, a dedicated Catholic.
You're all going to say that we will all agree that joining KNUST Parliament, in as much as there is some fun parts, debates and all that.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of others, it would seem quite boring, because when we are talking about the fun activities, like you go out, chilling a bit, from the perspective you are coming from, it appears you more or less associated yourself with, some more serious businesses.
Yes, because of my background. You can chill, have fun, and do all those things, but I needed to secure that solid foundation because I know where I'm coming from. You get it? So there are some things naturally you are cut out. You get it? For me to continue my education, I needed to get very good grades. If I were just an average student, I would have dropped out of school long ago.
Well,
yeah.
Now you spoke of associating yourself with other activities as well, alongside your academic,
Yeah.
How were you able to balance this, balance the relation between your academic life, your personal life, your extracurricular activities life? How are you able to balance that?
Well, that's quite interesting. Over the course of 4 years, I held about 5 leadership positions.
5?
Yeah, at KNUST, while being a dedicated Catholic, worship at the Catholic Church. And I played football as well. So it all boils down to discipline and proper planning. So before the day starts, mostly I plan what I'm going to do at what time. And I'm the type that I don't learn so much after lectures. I just need 2-3 hours to learn because I pay rapt attention in class. And I try to get almost everything that the lecturer is teaching.
Serious student.
Yeah, I don't really joke with lectures. When I'm in class, my friends are talking, I will not mind you. Because that is where I have to get everything. Because after class, I have to be doing other things. Leadership is here, football and those things. And I started teaching as well. In first year, I was appointed a member of the academic board. First year, second semester. I later became the head of the academic board in third year, vice president of Ghana Sustainability Leadership Club. Then the president of Sustainability Leadership Club the following year, the vice president of Ghana Institution of Surveyors Student Society, and all that. So it takes a lot of time. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. And I was always teaching Saturday tutorials over, the weekends. Students who had to have write receipts, organize tutorials for them, and underperforming students as well as the general students in the Department of Land Economy. So I was always having time constraints. In third year like this, on a Saturday, I'll wake up, organize tutorials from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then we're running some sustainability courses. Then the courses will start from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So right from class, I'll go to organize Zoom tutorials for, the sustainability courses. It was very busy, and as a result of that, I think I got a B in third year in my results.
You made mention of proper planning,
yeah,
to ensure the balance between all these relations, all these sectors of life.
Yeah.
But time and again, do we experience that you would plan for something? Let's say you've arranged, you have particular studies, let's say around 8:30, but within the course of the time, something just comes up abruptly. What happens in that particular instance?
Well, it's about priorities. If something happens, unforeseen circumstances do happen. And those moments, you just have to re-strategize. Plans should be modified, as time goes on. So if something happens, you attend to it, then come back later to, do what you were coming to do. Yeah. And I think one thing that also really helped me was the teaching. Because once I know that I'm going to teach, I learn like a teacher. And that way you have to go extra mile. And you have to understand it in class. Because after class, someone is going to ask you, explain to me. So if you don't get it, then how do you explain to someone? You get it? So that was one of the things I was always doing most of the time. I'll teach. Yeah.
Good. Within the trajectory of your academic journey, were there ever an instance where you faced certain challenges, or were there certain obstacles that were more or less preventing you or constraining you a bit in terms of pursuing your academic excellence? And if these things are in place or were in place as such, how were you able to overcome things like that?
Well, I think my challenges will be financial and maybe time, because having to do so many things at the same time, requires you to be up and doing. And for me, it comes down to discipline and planning. Finances, that one you can help. You can go to friends to help you and all that, Networking is very good. And sometimes friends will just call you and be like, is everything fine? Do you need some help and those kind of things. So that is how I got to manage my time and challenges as they came. And workload. Sometimes I find myself having to do so many things, at the same time. And people have to come and help, especially when I was at Technical University of Munich for my exchange program. I was learning things they were teaching there, at the same time have to learn what they were teaching here at K University. So sometimes I don't understand something.
How are you able to manage or maneuver your way out? Here, how are you able to?
Yeah, that was a very difficult moment for me. So I had some friends here. Sometimes when they teach and I read the slides, I don't get something, they would explain to me. And I had a TA, I think one of our TAs, Emmanuel Ganda. Yeah, he was a TA by the time I was at Munich. So sometimes you organize tutorials, Zoom tutorials, and teach me. And it was really instrumental. So
good. The mention of friends brings me to the question of networking, all right, and the roles that you made mention of TAs. How has these networking mentors contributed to your academic excellence?
I mean, friends are everything. I mean, basically, because they say if you want to go fast, to go alone. If you want to go far, you go with people. I mean, having a good network of friends who would support you at any point in time is really necessary. There were times
go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
But if you want to go far, you have to go with people.
You have to go with people. Yeah. So sometimes, even though you are good, there are things that you don't get, and you have to go to people to help you, TAs or lecturers, and people that you can call at any time you need help, and they'll come to your help. I mean, it was really good. At times, I remember recently a friend from Munich, my classmate when I was over there, he actually chatted me that, he's working on some project. They are trying to develop a system where it can mitigate the impact of climate change and protect water resources. So he said that, he knows that I am in the area of land management, so he wants me to assist him in that project. And it's a very good thing. I really loved it. But it all comes down from the friendship that we made once we were there.
Great. Let's shift to the roles that lecturers have also played. Mm-hmm. People do say that it is very critical and very, very important to associate yourself with these lecturers because they also want to help, favor you more. I want you to share with us, how have these associations with lecturers also contributed to your academic excellence?
Yeah, I had a very good relationship with my lecturers. I'm the type that I would talk in class always. If I know something, I would talk, right? Especially when no one is answering a question, I will raise my hand and talk.
Even when the class is closing, you
no, not that. And also sometimes, if I don't understand it in the class, as I told you, I try to get everything in class. If I don't understand it, I will not leave it. I will ask the lecturer. And because of that, I was vocal and I got to know many of the lecturers. Now, with regards to the fact whether they help you, give you favors or not, no, they rather will motivate you, because sometimes a lecturer will ask a question, everyone is silent. Then he'll mention your name, Desmond. You don't have any idea. Things like this. That means you have to always be on your toes. You get it? Yeah. So they pushed me to learn harder. To explore even beyond what they were teaching in the classroom. Yeah. Sometimes I take other extra courses relating to my program, taking about 10 different online courses in Coursera, Udemy, and all those, just to get a solid understanding of what I'm learning in the classroom as well.
Great. There are quite a number of people who are watching the show. What advice would you give to these people to also inspire them? You are a beacon of aspiration to all these aspiring minds. What advice would you give to these people?
For me, go after what you want, right? People say follow your heart, but I don't always agree. I don't agree entirely, because the heart can be diabolic as anything, right? Sometimes you don't necessarily have to follow your heart blindly. Do what you love if you have the abilities to do it. But if you cannot, find alternatives. You may be struggling to pursue something when you could have been the best in something else, right? So be open-minded. Go after opportunities as they come. And always have in mind that learning never stops, okay?
Right.
Always put in your best efforts and your results will be overwhelming.
If I quite remember, there was one particular thing that you made mention of in your speech during the convocation, that you made mention of the fact that you don't, it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Premise on this particular phrase,
Mm-hmm.
There are quite some other students that before you enter the premises of, let's say, a particular university, mm-hmm. or you come to KNUST, we all have a different mentalities and different perceptions. Others come with the whole idea that, well, I have a good background, I have a good home, so all I need is just more anything that would be good. I just go away with it. Others are also from a different background altogether. I should isolate myself, focus on my books. I don't need to associate myself with any other activities. Premise on your phrase, I want you to correlate this and then share something with us.
Well, I would say that, this question is a bit tricky, but, if you know that you just need second class to be okay, it's fine. But you should be able to push yourself to pursue excellence, right? If you have everything, it's okay, but there's nothing wrong to have it and not need it than to need it one day and don't have it. That's what I mean. First class, some people think is not really necessary in today's world. I don't disagree entirely. It's about your skills and competencies, okay? But then just also have the first class and don't even need it. You get it? If you can get it, go after it. But if you can't, then spend your time in other areas, developing your skills and doing, other things. And I'm saying it's relative because if you are from an underprivileged family like me, and you also join people who say first class is not necessary, there are some people, for them to continue their education, they need scholarships. And sometimes, unless you do well, as I was telling you, Educational Pathways International, if you have a CWA of below 66, they will withdraw you from the scholarship. So things like this, you need to think about where you're coming from. And that should be your motivation. If you are the type that you need grades, go after them. Even if you don't need them, there's nothing wrong to have them.
Great.
Get it? Yeah.
Looking back at all the time spent, is there anything that you would sometimes sit and wish if there was a feasibility to relapse into time, you would go back to change it all?
I wouldn't say that because, even if things didn't work out the way I wanted, they all contributed to who I am today. And I just appreciate life, and I'm willing to correct the mistakes I've made in the past, to become a better person in the future. But I will not say if I went back, I will change something. It's all good for my development. Yeah.
Great. Before we come to your final words, what would you expect? Is there anything that you would require? Maybe you would require collectively or individually people to own up, to contribute or help in any regard. Is there anything that you would like in that regard?
Yes. Right now, after here, I'm a teaching assistant at the Department of Land Economy, and I'm putting in applications for postgraduate studies, and I really need people to support me in this journey. I want to gain more knowledge and practical skills to help transform the lives of many. I'm interested in the area of sustainability, entrepreneurship, real estate, and infrastructure development. And if you can help me, get funding for postgraduate studies, I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Is your interest premised on the fact that there is more money coming from that in those areas?
Not really. At the end of it all, you have to make impact as a human being. We need to contribute to the society in which we find ourselves. So when I gain knowledge, I'll come back to Ghana and try and transform the lives of many.
Good.
Yeah.
We are very appreciative of your time, but share with us your final words.
Well, I'll say whoever is watching me, today, anywhere in the world, don't give up on your dreams. Pursue them and always try to put in your best effort. Yeah, and the results will be tremendous. Appreciate the efforts and dedication you have put in your life to get to where you are, and aspire for higher ideals.
Great. We are very appreciative once again, Master Desmond Bantee, for the time that you have expended to join us here, to share this wonderful and inspiring experiences with us. I believe that there are quite a lot of things that we have all picked up from this conversation that will go a long way to helping us along this journey. But before you leave, VOK, Voice of K University, have a beautiful presentation to make in regard of our appreciation for the time that you have spent with us here. This book is a leadership book. Considering the fact that you made mention of the fact that you want to pursue and you desire for more knowledge. I love that expression. And premise on this, I love the presentation in the book as well. And I believe that this will also go a long way contributing effectively to this thing that you desire, your interest in gaining more knowledge. So this book, as I indicated, is a leadership book. And the title of the book is Leadership and the Art of Growing Up Reboot, written by the author Jerry Colonna. So let me quickly unveil this book. Amazingly, this leadership book has been signed by the beautiful signatures of three renowned personalities of this great institution, beginning with one and only mother, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosia Desmond. And we also have the signature of Registrar Professor Andrews Kwesi Boateng, and finally the signature of our one and only Dean of Students, Professor Wilson Ejare. So here we all go. This is in all showing our appreciation to Master Desmond Bantee for the time that you have expended to join us on this show. We are appreciative.
Thank you. Thank you so much
for everything and the experiences you have shared with us.
Thank you.
So there we go. That was a time with Master Desmond Bantee, an August valedictorian, specifically from the College of Art and Built Environment. He has shared with us his inspiring and insightful experiences that he has garnered over the past few years. Before we leave this particular show, let me also unveil the fact that we have upcoming sessions with other August valedictorians, and I will encourage and urge each and everyone to brace yourselves and get your loins for the next session. Thank you.